So let's talk about the name because it's such a cool name. And I don't know that I know anyone named Lennon, especially for the reason you named him that. So talk about how you came up with that name.
Yeah, sure. So because after, like, we were here when I was told that I was pregnant, it was only 8 months. So we were living here 8 months, and everything was so unclear because we were on visa. Our visa was gonna expire. We were not sure what to do, and John Lennon has this quote, "Life is what happens to you when you are busy making other plans." So life has a plan for us here, and that was Lennon. So when I made that one rainbow to hang our window, I just wanted the brand to reflect my motherhood journey, as my son Lennon was my inspiration to start this business. So that's how Lennon and Me emerged as my business name.
So you mentioned that you named him after John Lennon and lyrics in a song. And
Yes.
then the pandemic happens and you're stuck at home and you have been making friends because of Lennon, and it's babies and puppies, right? You just have a natural connection to talk to people in the same kind of life stage. So you meet some friends, you have some people in the neighborhood, and you make a macrame rainbow. And if
Yes.
you're listening and you haven't been to the website, go to Flip Your Script podcast, the website, and you can see pictures of it. And there's links to all of Oz's sites as well, so you can buy some. But so you make this macrame rainbow and you hang it on your window. And that's how your business starts. You had no plans of starting a business, right?
No, not at all.
So you hang it out there because you wanted just to bring some joy to people who are struggling. Is that why you did it?
Yeah, so it's so the story of my first design dates back to 2020. There's a Good Karma Network Facebook group in my neighborhood where people help each other, and there was a rainbow hunting game created for kids during lockdown, as playgrounds were closed and there were basically not much things to do for kids. But this rainbow hunting game brought so much fun to our lives. It was even fun for me, Then rather than just, painting a rainbow, I decided to make a handmade rainbow for Lennon to hang our window. So that one rainbow has turned into Lennon and Me now. Because once I made that rainbow, I just shared the picture of it with my mother's group, and they love it. They were like, "Oh, you should do one for me." I'm like, "Yeah, I've got enough materials. I can do that for you." But then they were like, "No, you put lots of efforts on here, so we need to pay." I'm like, "You don't need to pay. It's just, from me to you." And then they were like, "You should you should make a business. Like, you can sell them." So it's how I start.
Was it strange to think about? Well, let me back up. There's so much about us that's wrapped up in our identity, and you didn't identify as a business owner, as a maker of things to sell. So was it hard for you to change how you think about yourself as someone who has a business and makes things that people want to buy?
Yeah, actually, so I grew up in a culture where people like gift to each other a lot, and like in my case, if my friend asks me, "Oh, can you do this for me too?" I'm like, "Yeah, sure." Like, and if they say, when they say, "Oh, we need to pay," I'm like, "No, like, pay for what?" It's like culturally a bit awkward for me. But then, but the culture here in Australia is like, whatever you do, if you spend time on that, then we should pay you. So I just combined these two cultures into each other, and I just accepted the fact that, okay, like, I understand that there is a time and effort here, and I understand when people want to pay for it. Because initially I felt a bit like weird. I'm like, why they are paying me? Like, they don't need to pay. So yeah, in the beginning it was like that, but after that I just realized that, oh yeah, I'm a stay-at-home mom. I'm doing my master's degree, so I can't go back to like full-time work, but I can start this business and I can make some money. But my aim was more about bringing the mindfulness into my mind during pandemic more than just making money.
Because doing the work, the physical work with your fingers and the creativity helped your brain.
Definitely. You are just living the moment. You are just counting the notes. You are just, you're trying to understand the pattern. When you make macrame, your mind is so present. You are living the present moment. And in a pandemic or in a like normal day, it's so difficult to stay present because our mind is always wondering, lots of questions and so on. But when you make like, it doesn't necessarily need to be macrame. It's just art and craft. Like when you make something with your hands, you just feel calm, more peaceful. You're living the moment. So yeah, it's just not for me, Lennon and me, just not for money, but also bringing those moments into my life.
Were you surprised when it went from a few women in your mom's group to the neighborhood to a business that's online, that we found you through our executive producer was doing I think she earlier described it to you as, she went down a rabbit hole on the internet and we found an article about you that had been written in Australia. You didn't know we were in America. And so it's funny how these things work, but that wasn't your intention. You started with, I'm going to do something for my son. Oh, I'm going to do something for the neighborhood. I'm going to do something that actually feeds my brain. Now people are interested in it. And it's a pretty growing business.
Yeah, it is. And you know what, Kristi? It's funny because so one day I decided to run a workshop because I just thought that, okay, I make products, I sell products. It's so much fun. But you know what? I can teach this skill to other people and people can make macrame and they can bring the same peaceful moments to their life. So, but I didn't know where to start. So I again went to this Good Karma Network Facebook group and I just shared a post regarding my skills and if they know any space where I can my workshop. I just asked for space. And then there were like lots of like recommendation and so on. And there was one message saying, can you please email to this email address? Then when I email, I find out that she is the event coordinator of a local library in my neighborhood. And she wants me to run that workshop at the library. Like, I'm like, oh my goodness. So, like when you are intent to do more for your business and even like for yourself, I believe like the life brings you all the right people, all the right connections. So it's how my life is all about, to be honest. It's not just the Lennon and me, it's my life.
It's lovely. I mean, what you said, it's so true, right? It's so true. We can start things and sometimes it just isn't quite right and things don't quite work out, but then it's almost like too easy when it is right and the things just keep happening. So you're selling this product and you're helping other people learn how to do it at the same time. But it's something that you mentioned it a little earlier and I want to go back to it, that isn't uncommon in Turkey, but is uncommon in Australia. What you do, is that right? The kind of macrame you do?
So macrame is a very popular craft in whole world, and recently it's very, very popular because actually it was very popular in the 80s, 70s, and people were making just very basic products like pot hangers and so on. But now you can do many things using the macrame art, and I would say it's getting popular. Like, I mean, it's really popular. It's not getting popular. It's really popular. It's popular in Turkey. It's popular in Australia. I see every day on social media there are like new people making macrame and products that they use macrame knots. So I think it's popular. Yeah, and it's even getting more popular.
Well, it's interesting because when I read about what you do in macrame, and I think about something that hangs from the ceiling that you put a plant in. Like I think about that as being made of macrame, but then
Okay.
when I see what you make, it's different, and I didn't know that that was the same thing. So I think it's
Ah,
fascinating that that same art form can be done. So many different things can happen with it.